we're going to get started with the research part of this week's meeting. So welcome to RITSec. Let's go ahead with it. If you're interested in presenting, we have our sign-up link at presentations.ritsec.club. I have the ideas page, and if you want free stuff, this is the way you're going to get it. We have our lanyards and things of that sort. Announcements. Please sign in. If you haven't signed in, also if you still should sign in. You feel like you want to sign in again, go for it. Honestly, we're here for that. Join the Discord if you're not already. I'm thinking everyone in the audience is currently in the Discord. Yeah. Join the calendar. You could see what things are coming down the line, such as our weekly meetings. And then join the mailing list so you see who's presenting and all the other announcements. And Sarah spends so many minutes making it. Okay, cybersecurity news. There were some flaws with Bitwarden. There was a breach of the U.S. House, and Blackbaud is dealing with charges that they had from the SEC. Okay, so Bitwarden. So they have a credential autofill feature that has been used for evil in the past couple months, I guess. So they learned of this in 2028, and they chose to allow it for access to legitimate sites because the autofill feature that they have for these credentials is disabled by default, and the conditions to exploit this are kind of rare. So they said like the websites have to meet these specific requirements, and motivated threat actors have to like kind of dig in to try to get these on very rare cases. So the extension on the browser, it autofills the forms defined in iframes, and sometimes these are from like external domains. So even when there's no access to a parent page, it can still forward these credentials into the login for the external site and then forward them off to a remote server. So it also said that the pages have to be hosted under a legitimate subdomain and then are able to capture credentials, and there's like very few cases where this is actually possible. So they kept reinforcing that this is limited scope and it's kind of not as much of a big deal as it should be. And since there are valid use cases, they'd have disabled this by default. They have a warning when you try to re-enable it, and they just kind of left it there because it was so hard to access, plus there's the warnings in place. And then the U.S. House was breached. The FBI is currently investigating a data breach on the U.S. House of Representatives and its members. The information was stolen from DC's HealthLink servers, and that's the organization that helps with like the health care plans for the U.S. House members, staff, and families. So all the impacted individuals were notified by, I'm not even trying to pronounce that, the U.S. Chief Administration Officer, and personal information was stolen from thousands of these enrollees. The chief admin said, DC HealthLink suffered a significant data breach yesterday, potentially exposing the personal identifiable information of thousands of enrollees. As a member or a member eligible for health insurance through DC HealthLink, your data may have been compromised. And this information, there was a leak on a hacker information broking site. There was names, date of birth, health plan info, the social security number, and a lot more details. And this data was already for sale. They had screenshots of the person who was selling it. They had an anime profile picture. I guess that's how it goes now. And they had an undisclosed amount, and they mentioned they at least had one buyer. And as of yesterday, there was an update with the FBI saying they've actually purchased some of the info that was put up, and I'm assuming to verify it. So that is ongoing. And then Blackbaud, the cloud software provider, has agreed to settle charges that were brought by them by the SEC. They paid $3 million, and this was to not confirm or deny the allegations that the SEC had. They had said that Blackbaud had failed to disclose a 2020 ransomware attack that affected more than 13,000 companies or 13,000 organizations. These were like charities, foundations, nonprofits, and universities worldwide. So they originally had said the companies did not gain access to bank details and SSNs, but the SEC found that they totally lied. And the technology and customer relations staff had realized that they had done this and then didn't report it. So Blackbaud continued, and they said, we have no reason to believe that the data theft went beyond the ransomware. They paid the ransom and only paid once they had confirmed that the data was destroyed, but this is still ongoing as well. Okay, and without further ado, this week's presentations, we have Camden Robertson, who solved a CTF challenge with Scratch. Dominic Cunningham is demystifying the PE file. Sarah will be talking about how to write CTF reversing challenges, and Bradley will be talking about adverse engineering.